Hey guys, I'm Alex. Welcome to Flashbacks, a Flash Rewatch podcast. But today we're not doing a rewatch. We're actually doing a read through of a script. It's
Yeah, I
called
guess you'd
Yeah,
call it
yeah,
that.
yeah. I got Brady here with me today. Brady,
Hello.
introduce yourself. Tell them
I
about
oh,
yourself.
yeah, so I'm Brady or Choco Milk. I'm a huge DC Comics fan. Flash is one of my favorite characters, so I'm excited to talk about this script. I love this script. It is my favorite unproduced DC script,
Nice.
other than Justice League Mortal. I love Justice League Mortal.
Yeah, I speaking of the Flash, one of the things about we'll go on a brief tangent. One of the things about Justice League Mortal I like is that whole scene. I think Adam Brody talked about it where like he's like I think he either plays doesn't he play Barry in that movie, right?
Yeah, he was gonna play Barry Allen, and
Yeah.
Anton Yelchin was gonna be Wally West.
Yeah. And then there's that scene where he's saying bye to Iris and she can't see him, but still like the
Yeah,
tear goes down her face. I'm like,
yeah,
I wanted to see that somewhere, like a
I
lot.
know.
We're going to get into this script. This script is by David Goyer, and there is some elements of it that I have seen done in other places, but like it would have still been really cool to see this. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna try to condense the summary because I did pull up a summary of this, and then we'll kind of just get into our thoughts. If there's anything that sticks out to you that you want to dive into, just stop me at any point and we can
Yeah,
discuss things. But
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
cool. So I pulled this summary. It's by Ryan Maloney on flickeringmyth.com. The article is titled Born to Run, Bringing the Flash to the Screen. I'm gonna try to condense this as much as I can. So script starts off, Barry Allen as the Flash, urban legend of Keystone, protecting the city from crime. So basically, I'm just gonna cut through this. Um, it's kind of like it's Wally is kind of this rebellious kind of kid, and he gets stopped by this how would you pronounce that? It's like Shire, is that
Shire. That's
yeah.
that's how they say it in the show is Shire, but I've also heard it pronounced Kyre. I'm gonna
Okay.
just go with Shire for the sake of consistency, because that's how I've heard it pronounced.
Gotcha. And then what I like is that he's kind of like I wouldn't say parental figure, but that kind of vibe to him. Like he stops Wally from committing some like hijinks, basically. And so he gets taken
Yeah.
back to Barry and Iris's place. And I like their dynamic. I know in the comics, they kind of had this vibe to him, but he's with them for the summertime. And so like they're kind of like surrogate parents to him. Did did you like their whole dynamic? I know we only see like glimpses of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in this script and just like in general, I haven't read many Flash comics with Wally
Mhm.
West. I've really only read the New 52, and I've read like 2 volumes of that, but I just always have loved the Barry and Wally dynamic, and it's done pretty well here.
Yeah. I would
Even if
actually, yeah, go
even
ahead.
if Wally's not Kid Flash.
Yeah, I wouldn't like thinking about that, like just as a tangent. I wouldn't mind a movie where they're obviously developing the Lanterns
Oh
show,
yeah.
right? If they had a show where it was, and I know they've kind of done this in the CW, but this is a different idea. Have a buddy cop thing, but it's like Wally West and Barry Allen. Like that'd be kind of
Yeah.
fun, something different, you know?
Yeah, just like do a like if they do the next Flash project for James Gunn's DCU,
Hmm.
everyone's saying like make Wally Flash. I'm like, make him Kid Flash. We've
Yeah.
only seen him as Kid Flash one time in live action.
Yeah, and it would bleed into the whole legacy thing, which I know that he changed it because he said that it would be like it's a better fit, but I'm like, dude, Superman Legacy works with that like
Yeah.
direction. I'm like, you should have just left it, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, because now we have two freaking movies called Superman.
and to be fair, if I'm gonna be one of those like, well, technically the other one's called Superman the movie, and this one is called
True.
Superman. So
True. You're not wrong. I did
you know,
forget that it was called Superman the movie.
yeah, I mean a lot of people do, but so yeah. So Keystone City, he's like in Central City usually, right? Or is that like
Yeah.
this is different?
My research concludes Keystone is the city that Wally operates in the comics when he's Flash.
Hmm.
Barry's typically in Central City.
That makes more sense. Because
Yeah,
yeah, because the two speedsters want he'd probably want to do his own thing too. That makes a lot of
yeah.
sense.
That's like if you had Nightwing and Batman both in Gotham.
Yeah. Um, and I know also they probably just condensed it in this because Barry operates out of Keystone. And this
Yeah,
one, probably just because it would be hard to explain, like, he's from this other city, but now we're gonna go to this other one. It just made it
yeah,
simpler. But yeah, so just cutting through some of the stuff, we do at a point meet they're doing like this raid on Victor Vesp, like his mansion or whatever. And
yeah.
his partner, Barry's partner, Hunter, is like there, they're like ready to go. He's like exploring the place. And then eventually he finds Vesp in this like they keep calling it like this like womb or something like that in it, like the digital
Yeah,
like womb or
that's
something.
kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, there's David Goyer. I'm gonna try to be nice. David Goyer has said some weird things,
I
so
already almost made a She-Hulk joke earlier.
yeah. So I'm like, it's one of those. This is also this would be around that time when he was saying that kind of stuff or
Oh
near it, early
shit, you're right.
2000s. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
so.
right.
There also is some stuff in here. We'll definitely get into it. I'm getting ahead of myself,
Yeah.
but he wants to still Barry's speed, and so he uses an infinity transducer. Barry goes Nova before it can happen and disappears. Wally sees the whole thing and is devastated at his uncle's apparent death, growing up in constant fear of never being able to live up to Barry's heroic legacy. Also, in general, like he doesn't even try. At all. Like, which
No.
it's kind of cool, but also kind of like I get it to an extent, but it's
Yeah.
just like it's not like you're going to the same field as him, man. Like you can you can do like other
Yeah,
things.
you don't have to be a CSI while like
Yeah, like you could do like anything. Like he, I don't know, but anyway,
do you know what Wally's job was in when he was the Flash in the comics?
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing from my
What the
memory.
hell? Why is he a CS? Why is he not something different?
Well, to be fair, at that time, Barry was like dead, and so it was like one of
Oh
those
yeah,
things.
true. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
after Crisis. Forgot about
yeah.
that.
So that's probably why. But yeah, like even the origin, and we'll get into this in a minute, but the origin's a little bit better here. In the comics, it's literally just like, can you recreate the thing that gave you those
Yeah.
powers? It's just like
Well,
it happened
wasn't it
again.
like Barry showing him the lab and he goes, "Oh, don't worry, lightning never strikes twice."
Yeah.
Boom.
It's the Silver Age, man. You gotta just kind of
Yeah.
be
I
like,
love those old Silver Age stories though. They're great.
yeah, I read recently, and this is more of a talk for my Night of the Batman podcast that I do, but I read that one where Batman switches costumes like
Oh, where
every
Robin
night.
gets injured and he switches the
Yeah.
costume to keep attention off of Robin.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. I like that one.
That one's hilarious.
Yeah. I
They
like
parodied it on Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, I like the one too where I think it's just a cover and we'll get back to the Flash in a minute. But
Yeah.
it's just a cover and it's like Joker is destroying like this little kid's like sandcastle talking about like mud pies and just like
I haven't
destroying
seen this
stuff.
one.
This kid is running away like crying and Batman and Robin is just like what's the Joker up to now kind of thing.
I need to find this cover.
I'll send you a
Oh
thing
crap.
afterwards, man. It's so
Okay,
funny.
okay, yeah, I need to see this.
But yeah, anyway, going back into it, Wally later visits the city's commemorative statue and is caught in a blast of lightning. Wally wakes up to find he's been granted the same speedy powers, whatever, as Barry had, and grapples with the newer, quicker metabolism and rapid facial hair growth. That's actually a good note. They have that, like, I don't know if that was just a comedic beat thing, but they do have a moment in the script where he's talking about how he has to shave a lot. And not that it would come up a ton, but you would think that they would like call back to that eventually
Yeah,
too, you know?
yeah, they only talk about it the once, right?
Yeah. I think it's just like a sight gag, probably.
Yeah.
But
I also like how he's he's just like standing there looking at the statue and then he gets hit by lightning.
yeah, yeah. Well,
He's just
Barry wasn't
looking at it.
there.
Yeah, true. Well, my thing was when I was reading it is that
Mm,
in my mind, I imagine Barry is like how he becomes the lightning bolt in some
hmm
of the comics. I imagine that
Ooh.
Barry was the lightning bolt that hit Wally. That's why you can hear Barry talking to him.
Yeah, I think I actually had like a similar thought or something like Barry is nearby or something. Like that's a
Yeah,
good
like his
point
speed
though.
force essence was nearby or something, but I
Hmm
thought he just turned into the lightning bolt and was like, yeah, the world needs a Flash, so
hmm
here you go.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. That's what my thing's gonna be
Yeah.
now for
I
that.
also, real quickly, I want to
Yeah, yeah, sure.
mention the restaurant scene. Hilarious. The line, oh, where is it? Hold on, I have the script pulled up as well. Um,
Nice.
Oh, where he meets, I don't know if we're gonna like talk in depth about this later, but when he
Oh
meets
yeah, go ahead.
Greg and
Yeah.
he keeps saying his name wrong. He keeps calling him Rick, and then
Yeah.
Greg's like, maybe you should take it easy. And Wally just says, maybe you should shave your ass. Like, who
Yeah.
says that to someone when you're trying to insult them? Like,
Yeah.
I would say that because I think it's funny, but my brain also works differently than most. But like, why would any normal guy just tell someone to go shave their ass as an insult?
Well, this is the thought I had too. So like he writes some weird lines. Case in point, Man of Steel with the dick splash thing. I'm
Oh, I
pretty sure that's
forgot about
him.
that. I haven't seen Man of Steel since like 2015.
But yeah, he writes some weird like insults in these things, man.
Yeah, but I think that was also because he wanted Ryan Reynolds for the
Hmm
role of Wally, so
Yeah.
he just like put in a bunch of funny stuff, and maybe he was like, he'll improv something later.
Yeah, he'll find something like a funnier
Yeah.
way to say that. But yeah, cool.
Imagine Deadpool telling Wolverine to go shave his ass in Deadpool and Wolverine. That would have been hilarious.
It's all about delivery. I feel like if you say it a certain way, like maybe if he was like he said it, but like not like confidently, it's like you could go shave your ass or something like
Yeah,
that.
if he
Like it just comes out
stutters,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, and then also he says like dinner's on him at some point, like he
Yeah, he
literally
throws the
throws
dessert
it.
at the guy's head and he's like, what's the line? He's like, you paid for dinner, but really, dessert's on me. Or
Yeah,
something like that.
and then like later on too, I guess we'll go later on where he's just like tormenting him and like bullying him and like he
Oh my
takes his
gosh.
clothes off and then puts them back
Yeah,
on
when
inside
he gets his
out.
powers, yeah, he like
Yeah.
runs past him, takes his clothes off and puts them on him like backwards and inside out.
And puts like what's his name? His ex's bra, which is it's kind of weird, like when you think about the
Yeah.
mechanics of it, where it's like,
Yeah,
ugh.
that's well, they don't imply that it was one. It's still weird either way,
hmm
but like, yeah.
That
Yeah,
probably would have got
Connie
cut.
is her name.
Yeah. If they made this movie, it probably would have been one of those things that just stayed in the script.
Like the scene in Justice League Mortal where he vibrates himself through Iris that
Oh,
they
I
cut
don't
out
know
of the
about
audio
this.
drama. Dude, there it's weird. They're just like I forget the context, but they're like I think it's before his death in
Mhm.
Mortal. He's talking to Iris and he just goes whoop, vibrates right through her and she goes, "Don't tell anyone we do that."
Well, that's like,
There's
yeah.
the audio drama that's on YouTube cuts that out and they just kiss because even they were like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff. I feel like sometimes people are figuring stuff out when they write the script out. It's like that would be a deleted scene. That wouldn't even make it
Yeah.
to filming, probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Mortal draft that's online as well is like a very, very early draft because there's some things that were leaked from like storyboards that aren't in the script.
I hate that. And again, we're gonna get back to the thing, but I really wish that they were still making that documentary about the
Dude,
making of.
that sucks that Ryan Unicomb's not doing that anymore.
I know. That damn Army Hammer man ruining it for everybody.
Just had to be a cannibal, didn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
We're just
Uh
calling out everyone today.
yeah, seriously.
No one's safe on this show.
Yeah, everybody watch out. But so anyway, we do at one point meet so doctors are baffled by the condition, but some good scientists at Star Labs among them, Dr. Tina McGee. Are you a fan of the 90s show? Have you seen the 90s Flash?
Haven't seen it.
Okay.
I think I
So
mentioned that on the monthly meetup that I haven't
yeah.
seen 90s Flash.
So the 90s show had Tina McGee. I actually saw the 90s show before, and I'm sure I mentioned this on the meetup. The meetup he's referring to, we do superhero stuff. You should know we're part of their Patreon. We That's how
Yeah.
me and him met. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and that's also how I found out about this script. So I sometimes do this in my show. So a quick shout out to superhero stuff you should know. They also shout me out all the time.
Go listen to their show. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so anyway, so yeah, and her ex-husband Jerry. So in the 90s show, her husband is, I think his name is David, and he's already dead. Like he's not part of the show.
Oh.
I think he died because he was getting too close to like some sort of like research or something, and then like he was killed kind of thing. I don't know.
Oh,
But yeah,
interesting.
they're really vague about it. They don't really go in
Huh.
depth. Either that, I might be misremembering. Don't quote me. I have a review of the pilot, so I probably got it right in that episode.
I'll
If people want to
I'll
go
have to
back.
go listen to that. Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so Jerry's kind of an asshole. Just gonna
Well,
say
so is
that.
Wally.
Yeah, to be fair, he sucks.
Wally is a dick.
Yeah, just a bully, and he takes that whole Spider-Man like I guess we're just gonna jump around, which is fine.
Yeah.
He gains his powers and he immediately starts milking them for like
Oh yeah.
publicity stunts and everything and brand deals and
He
all this
does like a
shit.
got milk act.
He does that hockey game where he's going against all of them, like he's like making multiples of himself. I actually thought that was really fun while he
Yeah,
flirts
that
with
was a
Tina.
cool. Yeah, that was a cool thing. Isn't that at isn't hold on, I'm scrolling down to try to find it while I stall. Isn't the name of the place he goes to for that Gardner Fox Arena, or
It
was I making that
is.
up?
No, no, that exactly. I made a note of that in my phone. It definitely is. But yeah. So getting back to the thing, we do meet Solomon again. He's now wheelchair bound after the night of Barry's death. And
Where
he
have we
thinks,
seen that before?
yeah, I know.
That's totally not important.
That was the thing. I was just like, man, CW Flash, either they knew about this script or they just parallel thinking moment kind of thing.
Well, because Berlanti had a Flash script
Hmm.
right before he did the show, and it's very similar to both this and the pilot.
Definitely. I think like a lot of that stuff just got cannibalized into the final like pilot. I think like they just reused
Yeah,
their ideas.
except the pilot did it better
It definitely did. I
because
appreciate it.
Berlanti's Flash script sucks.
Yeah, not as good as this one. Um, but yeah, so sorry, I was just going through it. The Keystone team is the ones that go against Flash for that publicity
Yeah,
stunt thing. But yeah, I kind of like going back to Zolomon. I kind of like how we find out obviously he's a villain, but
yeah,
that he's kind of bitter that Barry's not like using, not Barry, my bad, because it's always Barry, that
yeah,
Wally is misusing his powers basically, and like he just
yeah,
like kind of, it should have been me kind of vibes to him.
yeah. He's like that because I'm working on a bunch of stop motion animation DC projects, so I do a bunch of research on stuff.
Hmm.
From my research, Hunter's like that sort of in the comics too. He's very bitter towards Wally because he's not like, oh, it should have been me, but he's like, you have this opportunity to help me with your powers, and when
Hmm.
I ask you to, you don't. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, kind of like like in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 with with what's his name, Harry.
Harry,
You're a fraud,
you're a
Spider-Man.
fraud, Spider-Man. I hate
I
that movie so much. It,
like the
it
suit.
Spider-Man tangent for a second.
Okay.
Love the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Probably my favorite modern Spider-Man movie. Like I love it so much.
Hmm.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm just like, where the fuck did you go wrong?
They're trying to be MCU, I feel like.
It so should have been too. It was so close. I've
Hmm.
read in a couple of different places that they were supposed to have Oscorp Tower in the first Avengers movie,
Hmm.
but Marvel was way too far along for them to be able to include the building. And I'm just like, oh, if only Marvel were slower.
Yeah. So Aunt Iris chides Wally for abusing his powers, telling him that he must be more responsible lest he let the speed go to his head. Meanwhile, a prison-bound Vesp learns of Wally's new powers and again plots to steal Flash's speed. This time, he plants a time bomb on a Pack 747, which also happens to be carrying Solomon.
Little bit overkill.
Yeah, that was the thing with me. I was just like, you could have just lured, it'd be less exciting, but like you could have just lured like Wally to like some random save somewhere and then like it ends up being phony or maybe just, or a brand deal. Just be like,
Like
hey,
in
we got this brand deal over here.
yeah, do a thing similar to Justice League Doom, where Mirror Master lured Barry into the thing where he's like, "Oh yeah, here's a grandma in a box," and he puts his hand in the box and it puts the bomb on his wrist. Do something like that. It's a little
Yeah.
less overkill and reminds me less of the boys.
Yeah. Well, that was the cool thing was with that scene, like I would have loved to see that save and how he accomplished it because the way it sounds in the script, it's like it's all slow motion and he's like moving through, taking everyone out of the cabin and everything, and it's just
Yeah,
like really like a really cool scene. I would have really liked to see this. Apparently, I was gonna save this for the end, but I guess we can go into this now. Like apparently they didn't pursue it further because of creative differences. I've heard online someone saying
yep.
like it was too dark or something. Did you get that vibe? It wasn't too dark to me. I don't
It's
know.
not, I don't think this is too dark. Like, yeah, I can see that there's a lot of like dark stuff in this script. I mean, you literally have the Flash die, but
Hmm.
like, I wouldn't say it's too dark. My theory is that Warner Brothers just was too scared to do a Flash movie,
Yeah,
let
definitely.
alone one this different with a guy like Ryan Reynolds in the lead, who I'm pretty sure at this point had only his only comic book movie was Blade.
Yeah, and that was, I think you're exactly right, because him and
And
Goyer had
which
worked
was
together.
Goyer. Yeah, I was like, that
Yeah,
was Goyer.
yeah. Didn't he want to direct this? That's what I read online, and I'm like, that would have been a
I haven't
bad
heard anything
idea.
about him directing this, but that
Hmm.
could have been the case.
Yeah.
If so, probably would have been way worse.
Because all this is about execution. It's like if you get
Yeah,
someone that knows what they're doing, this could be an amazing movie. If you have someone that has
yeah.
no clue, terrible.
Keep Christopher Nolan far away from this.
He just like I'm
I
trying to
don't.
think what that would be with Christopher
He
Nolan.
wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan wouldn't touch this.
yeah. He'd
I'm
probably
trying to
just
think
have
of someone
Barry
who
with like
actually would do a good job in like this day and age.
Barry just has a
Kevin
high-powered
Smith.
scooter. Yeah, that'd be
Kevin
kind of
Smith
cool.
needed to direct this.
Barry's just high all the time. He's just stoned.
It's just him and Wally are just in the forest smoking weed all the time.
He's like, "Whoa, there's Mirror
They're s-
Master."
they're sitting outside of Star Labs just singing about how how Hunter owes them $50.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd watch it. You know, he put Silent Bob in there somewhere. There's no
Oh,
way
dude,
he wouldn't.
I would watch the hell out of that. I wish they would have made his version of Superman Lives.
Definitely. So he has to evacuate every passenger. And while this is basically he gets everyone out, and this also Vesp later is broken out of prison by a speedster. That scene was actually creepy. Like the
Oh
when
yeah,
he's just coming in and like you just like you don't really see him. He's just like speeding through and like that the vibrating voice that they mention really kind of
yeah.
reminds me of in the show with
Where he's talking to
First
Iris on the
Flash.
roof.
Yeah. Like I could
Oh no,
just see
I just
it.
thought of when Barry's talking to Iris on the roof. That's what I imagined. I didn't imagine quite as demonic of a voice
Yeah.
as Reverse Flash on the show. I just kind
Yeah.
of heard like the Barry and Iris conversations
Yeah.
before she knows who he is.
Because that was a weird thing too, because it was described not just like vibrating, but it would like go up, like the pitch would go like up and down. I'm like, I don't know how that would necessarily sound intimidating. Like I don't
Like
know.
to me, it just sounds like a teenager going through puberty, where they
Yeah,
like voice crack all the time.
exactly.
I want to make it
Oh,
clear, audience, that voice crack was on purpose.
but yeah. Oh, and then the whole like, so Zoom comes back after he's broken him out and everything, and he makes like him kiss his foot to get the speed
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
he thinks he's in some kind of crime movie or something. Like
A
that's
weird
weird.
scene. Yeah, it was just like that would probably be changed to something else. Like all he had to do
Yeah.
was just make him crawl, and that's enough. Like, that's
Yeah.
like bad enough. But so like I did think it was kind of cool that Zolomon, like the speed gives him the ability to like walk and like, run again. Like that's such a cool like,
Yeah.
motivation for him.
Yeah, it's not like Wells in the show where
Hmm.
he's just pretending the whole time. Like Hunter actually did get pretty fucked up from that,
Yeah,
but the speed makes him able to move around again. That's a pretty cool idea.
definitely. So sorry, going through it. Oh yeah, so like also they do go over at one point how his addiction and everything kind of messes with his mind a little bit. Like he kind of like starts losing it a bit and is not thinking straight at all. That
Yeah.
becomes more of a thing later,
Yeah, it
but
becomes like a almost like a heroin or like a drug allegory where it's like, oh yeah, this seems fun, but you're actually going literally insane because of how often you're using it.
definitely. And
I also just
then
found, sorry, I
oh,
don't
go
mean to
ahead.
cut you off so much. I found something in this script that is the funniest thing I have ever read in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's when is this? It's on when he's at the like race. No, this is not the race. It's when
Okay.
he's talking to Iris and that girl asks him to sign her body. She's literally just called Busty Girl. That's the funniest thing I have ever read.
Yeah, usually they do that though, and like a lot of credits, like you would think that they would actually have like a name or something, be like person, but it would
Yeah.
be like weird old person or something like that. Like it'll just
Well, and
be,
also it's Goyer. Would you expect any
yeah,
other type of label for a character like
yeah,
that?
jeez, yeah, it's
By the way, listeners, if you don't know what we're talking about, Google what David Goyer thinks about She-Hulk. I beg of you. It's some of the weirdest things I've ever heard anyone say.
definitely. So like also at one point, so he keeps Wally, I have to keep in my head like replacing like because I say Barry so much on this show for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But so Wally is like he runs around with Tina like to different places. They have like this nice like date where they go to a bunch of they go to France, I think, at one point and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, there's a lot more globe trotting in this. Like even the fight towards the end, and we'll get to that, but like where they travel throughout the whole world basically
Yeah.
like with their fight, it'd be an expensive movie if they had made it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I really think they should make this as like a comic or animate it or something.
Hmm.
I think that
Definitely.
would work really well and actually get Ryan Reynolds to play Wally West.
That'd be or a sound alike maybe, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jerry is jealous this whole time, and he actually later on in the script he finds out what's going on basically. And so Wally comes like to I think it's to I'm just gonna Turtle because I forgot his name. What's the guy's name again?
Slow?
No,
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 Vesp.
no, Vesp, that's it.
Victor Vesp. Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes to like his place, and then he finds Jerry down there like dead basically, and it's
Yeah,
because he found
that's
out the
oh,
twist
sorry.
that he's no, you're good. The twist that he's under Star Labs this whole time.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? Like I thought it was kind of cool but also kind of
Yeah.
like convenient.
Yeah, did feel kind of contrived. I thought it was cool that like Bear or fuck, now I almost did it. That Wally thinks Jerry is Zoom, like he comes to that conclusion that like, oh, this has to be Jerry, and that's why he
Hmm.
goes there is to be like, okay, I've got you, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
It felt like a Riddler moment where it's like
Hmm.
Batman finally has a lead, but
Hmm.
he's dead, so now his hunt continues.
Yeah, and that whole I mean, like Vesp in this, like what did you I found Vesp kind of like forgettable. What did you think of his character?
Yeah, I kind of felt the same. I was like, I get why we need him here because he needs to kill Barry Allen,
Hmm.
but I think at some point you should have killed him like way earlier.
Definitely. After another fight, Wally catches Zoom and rips off his mask to discover Zoom is Solomon. And then also like the other thing, what did you think about like even with the blur effect, like you could still tell that like Solomon's like facial features were like getting messed up and everything, like it was actually having a physical effect on him.
Yeah, I thought that was cool because to me that implied like, oh yeah, he's vibrating around so much that it's literally messing with his bones.
Hmm.
So it's like messing up his face and giving him scars and stuff. I thought that was a really cool idea.
I mean, at the end too, he's just like, isn't he like drooling or something like that? Like he's
Yeah,
like
he's almost
messed
like
up.
catatonic almost, yeah.
Yeah, where
I w- I
go
will
ahead.
say I know it's just the script and I
Hmm.
hope if that got made they would have changed it. I don't like that Zoom has a black suit. It's
I
very
know you
nitpicky.
mentioned that before,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like that he has a black suit because even in the comics, he just has like the black eyes or like the
Hmm.
black, yeah, with like red eyes.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, that looks menacing. Like, give him
Hmm.
maybe like vampire teeth or something, or like
Yeah.
make him scarier somehow. But I think the yellow also could work. I don't like that we keep giving Zoom black suits.
Yeah, he had like a bluish one in the second season of the CW Flash, but
Yeah.
like bluish black, but I think they only did that just to distinguish him from Reverse Flash in the first season, probably.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also
But
to hide his identity.
yeah, because again, my research in the comics, Hunter gets his powers from the Flash Museum, and that's why he has the yellow suit, is because he took it from the Reverse Flash display. So I
Hmm.
get why they're not really doing the yellow suit for this or for the when he showed up in the show, because it's like we want to have someone different, but I just prefer a yellow suit on my
Yeah.
Flash villains.
Yeah, that definitely. Obviously we talked about Zoom kills Jerry. Solomon was also the one to plant the bomb on the 747, has done everything thus far out of jealousy that Wally was granted Barry's powers while he suffers as a cripple. Both Wally and Zoom wind up in Vesp's underground lair where Vesp explains he knew Solomon's speed addiction would cloud his judgment and lead him to bring Wally to the lair, allowing Vesp to again try to steal the speed away. Like Barry, Wally goes Nova, but instead of dying, he is rocketed to the past, meeting Barry and the Speed Force in a heartfelt scene. And then Barry tells him, "Tell Iris I love her." Like I really like this scene. This would have been
Yeah.
great to see.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, I love the whole Speed Forcey like time travelness of Flash. That's one of my favorite parts of the character. So seeing that scene was really cool.
There's a I don't know if you've read this or if you've read. You said you haven't read much of the Flash comics, right?
Not as much as I have wanted to.
Okay, so in I don't think it's Flash. No, I think it's in Infinite Crisis actually, but there's a scene where it's like I think it's Wally in there, and then like briefly, I think it's yeah, because Superboy Prime is like fighting them and everything, and so like out of the Speed Force, Barry comes out of there and like helps him out, like grabs Superboy just to like kind of help out for a minute, but then has to immediately go back into the Speed Force. So like that kind of reminded me of that a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I need to make
Um
like a list of Flash comics to read. I do want to read the Mark Waid stuff.
the new 52 stuff is actually really good with
Yeah,
Francis Manapul and Brian, I can't remember how to pronounce his last name.
Brian
Busaletto?
Azzarello.
No, no, it's a different guy. It's but
Oh,
Busaletto or
I
something.
was like, I have the comic. I don't want to get up and grab it because I don't want to interrupt the flow of the show, but I
It's all
could,
right. I'll include links or something afterwards.
yeah, just
But
like put them in the show notes or something.
definitely.
Ugh.
So back at his lair, Zoom is briefly overcome with guilt and transfers so much speed to Vest that his frail body can't handle the vibrations, killing him. Zoom grapples with his fate but can't break free of his addiction and challenges Wally yet again by throwing the hostage Tina off a building. Wally manages to catch her and again fights Zoom, this time across several world locations. On the advice of Tina, Wally infuses all the speed into Zoom, who can't handle the vibrations while also traveling at near light speed and begins to rapidly age before shriveling up and melting into dust. With its enemies defeated, Wally returns to Keystone and rubs the death date off of Barry's Flash statue, promising Aunt Iris he'll find a way to bring Barry back. Wally tells Tina she grounds him and makes him want to slow down, but there's always a crisis to be solved, and Wally disappears with Back in the Flash. This ending reminded me of Batman 89 with
Oh yeah,
Vicky Vale with that whole thing. It's like, oh, he'll be back late tonight.
yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, like I forget what her line back is, but something like, oh yeah, I expected it or something. But yeah, I'll go ahead
yeah.
and get into my note.
Batman 89 is one I've only seen a couple of times, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so hot take on this. I know that a lot of people are really taken with that movie. I didn't see it until I was in middle school and I saw Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and the other ones first. And it's okay. Like, I don't know. It's not like my favorite or anything. I feel like you just had to
Yeah,
be there.
yeah. I'm just also not much of a Tim Burton person. Like I don't like some of the things he said, and I his movies just aren't my jam.
Yeah, it's a very specific thing.
I ruined it for myself because I watched again, I grew up in a different time than you. So
Hmm.
I saw all the like cartoons first. Like I saw Justice League, Batman Brave and the Bold. I saw all those first. So I had a good handle on Batman. And then when I saw Batman 89, I think I was like 11 and I was just like, what the hell am I watching? This is not Batman.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know about Linda Lake? She makes a few cameos in this as like the news reporter.
Linda Park?
Is it Linda Park?
Yeah,
I'm
I just
thinking of the
saw it.
water lady, Linda Park. You're right. I was thinking of the
Yeah,
water lady from
I was like,
Smallville.
yeah, Linda. Yeah, I know who Linda is. She is Wally's girlfriend, I believe.
That's kind of threw me off in the story originally, where he's breaking up with that one girl. I was like, this isn't Linda. What's happening here?
Yeah.
But yeah, also another thing that's kind of trivia in this, Iris seems to be, she doesn't seem to be a reporter in this. She's kind of like an artist, which is similar to like the 90s show where, dude, if you think the CW version of Iris is bad, the one in the 90s show is even worse.
Oh
Like
dear
she's
God.
terrible. She's
I
only
didn't
in one
even
episode.
I didn't even know Iris was in that show.
She's only in it for one episode. She's
Oh dear God.
the girl who plays her. I haven't seen the Hellraiser series, but it's the girl from the Hellraiser, the
I
first
haven't
one, I
seen
think.
Hellraiser either. Let me look. I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, it's pretty wild because she's even on if you ever get the Blu-rays, she's on one of the discs, and I'm like, who the hell is this? Because she only shows up in the pilot, and they gave her a whole disc and like art on the back, and I'm like, you guys are wasting your time. She doesn't even like, I guess they pushed her off because they wanted Tina to be the main love interest, probably.
Yeah. Is is Tina McGee a character in Flash lore? Or did they just
No,
make her up for this and the show?
the show, and then like she's been like, because I think that show was popular at the time, so probably Goyer. I assume probably watched that show and probably is like, well, people be familiar with her, so that's probably why he
Yeah.
incorporated her into this.
Oh, speaking of 90s Flash, another tangent for a minute. I have a fun piece of trivia for you that I just learned today. In Batman the Brave and the Bold,
Hmm.
the when he's trying to save Barry Allen from a time where Reverse Flash is taken over,
Hmm.
Reverse Flash is voiced by John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah, man, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
he played the Reverse Flash. I was watching it just randomly. I'll randomly turn on Brave and the Bold sometimes, and I'm like, wait, hold on. That's John Wesley Shipp playing Reverse Flash, and he looks like Zoom though. He doesn't really look like Reverse Flash.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. That show's really good, by the way, guys, if you haven't had a
Yes.
chance to see it. But yeah,
Yeah.
that I also like, I know I've told you this, but I also met John Wesley Shipp. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's very generous with his time. Was just very nice. You don't always get that. I also met Grant Gustin. The 2 seconds I met Grant Gustin for were nice. Like I posed for one of those. You have the blue background and everything, and you like
Yeah, my friend got one of those when I went to FanX
yeah.
couple weeks back.
Uh, Pro tip though for that, if you want to actually have a conversation with them, just get the autograph because then you could actually have a back and forth. The
Yeah,
the
that's
picture's only for
that's
1 second.
I did that for Kari Payton. I don't
Hmm.
know if you or any of your audience know who that is, but
Sounds
I'm a
familiar.
huge Young Justice fan. He's the voice of
Oh,
Aqualad. I actually have the thing he signed back there.
nice.
He signed a picture of Aquaman technically because it was from season 3 when he transitioned to Aquaman.
I
But
was
yeah, I hung around and talked to him for a little bit. He's a fucking nice dude.
yeah, well, I remember when my first comic convention I went to, I don't know if I told you this, but
I think you told me this in text. Is it the Young Justice thing?
yeah, and those guys,
Yeah.
I was in like high school, I think. So the most I told them was like, "Great show, guys," and they're like, "Thanks," and that was it. But it's like
Damn.
when
What
you're
I
in
would
sync.
do to meet the entire cast of Young Justice,
Yeah, it's
especially
I wish I
Jesse
did too.
McCartney, because I love his Nightwing voice. People, the- again, tangent. People shit on. I've heard people like talk crap about Jesse McCartney as Nightwing. Sounds
Hmm.
fine. That's how I imagine Nightwing sounds.
Yeah,
Like when I read Chuck Dixon's Nightwing, I was like, oh wait, I hear Jesse McCartney's voice in my head, not like Scott Menville or Lauren Lester. I just hear Jesse McCartney as Nightwing.
yeah. So going off that tangent, I think that we've kind of like, so just broad picture here. We're not going to do like most of the time in reviews, I do a thing where I do heart humor spectacle. We're not doing this. This is more just like a script, like exposing it for people that haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet. And so I was going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I'm going to do unless you had anything else you wanted to dive into before. Gotcha.
No, can't really think of anything else
Cool.
about this script I want to talk about.
It was really great. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do my plugs and then you can kind of do your plugs if you want to tease your new
Yeah,
podcast that you were doing.
I'll talk about my
Cool.
podcast I'm working on.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm Alex. I have this show, Flashbacks, the Flash Rewatch podcast. I'm wearing one of my shirts from This is the Tangential Exchange. Me and my friend,
Oh,
we get drunk, we get progressively more drunk and try to stay on topic, and we just kind of bullshit and try to make each other
I
laugh.
need to listen to this fucking show. This sounds amazing.
I'll send you some links.
All
Um,
right, cool.
And then I have Neither Batman I do with my wife. She will tell you that it's her show. She is right. It was a rebooted thing that I used to do on YouTube back in the day. And I have What Mean. That was the first podcast I did in 2019. That will come back when I have time. Just be patient, guys. Eventually I'll get to it. And anyway, now to you, Brady.
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube. I do gaming content under the channel Alanite. That's ALANIGHT. I just play superhero games, random other stuff. You can also follow the accounts for that channel on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, but I don't post anything on those social medias, but if you want to follow them, feel free to. I also have the Choco Milk channel where I post random short films I made in high school
Nice.
and where I'm going to be posting my oh, excuse me, where I'm going to be posting my Lego DC stop motion animations. Um, One's actually being worked on right now, and it
Ooh, a
may or may
tease.
not feature Ben and Andrew of Superhero Stuff You Should Know. Um,
Ooh.
they're cameo characters, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then my podcast that I'm working on is going to be called Tismo Talks. It's
Ooh.
a comic book podcast where I'm just going to talk about whatever the hell comic or superhero related thing I want. The first episode is going to be about the Spectacular Spider-Man,
Ooh,
the
nice.
animated series.
I
Yeah,
love that show.
I'm gonna do an episode by episode review. So my first like 40 however many episodes that show has. No, my first like 20 something episodes are just gonna be about each episode of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it, definitely. You already got a subscriber now. I'll be checking it out.
Oh
But
hell yeah. It's
yeah,
it that I don't know if I'm gonna put that on my Choco Milk channel or if I'm gonna make a separate thing for that. I might do a separate thing for it.
I got you. But yeah, it was great having you on, Brady.
Yeah, of
Definitely
course.
check out his stuff. I'm gonna put links in the description for you guys to go.
I can send you the links as well and then you can put them in your show notes.
Definitely. And then to wrap this up, I know you know this because you've seen some episodes of this show, but
Yeah.
we always end it with see you in the Speed Force. So 1, 2, 3. We will
See you in
see
the
you at
Speed
Speed
Force.
Force. Awesome. All right.